How are you, Patrick? Good morning.
Lovely, lovely. Good morning to you.
All right. So,
living in gratitude, my friend. Living in gratitude.
Excellent. We're going to talk about all of that today. Our normal Patrick Doherty has the week off again. He'll be back next week. But we have Patrick Kodjoe in the building. Patrick has a famous brother, Boris Kodjoe. Patrick, huh?
What? I do.
Yes. And Patrick is a very successful entrepreneur and is going to share with us some of the projects that he's working on. We're going to talk about all of that, as well as some of the hidden secrets in Africa, why Black Americans should consider going back to the motherland and experiencing it for themselves, and more about family life and what it takes to be an entrepreneur. Now, Patrick, I have a clip from a TV appearance with, as a matter of fact, this is a clip from an Africa trip for Full Circle Festival. This is a preview of what the audience is going to see a little later. So let me play this clip.
Absolutely. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You may recognize a few famous faces in there.
Yeah, so that was January 1st, 2019 at Labadi Beach in Accra. Before we brought in the New Year 2019 in Accra after about 2 or 3 clubs out in the city. Went out to the beach and that's the way we brought in the New Year and kind of got things started. Kind of a rebirth for a lot of us. It's phenomenal. So we'll talk about that a little later, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yes. So everyone, please send a shout out to Patrick in the chat. Welcome him to the show. Feel free to ask questions related to the topics that we're about to discuss. And guys, we're going in, and let's start the show. All right, so let's get you unmuted again. Patrick, you there? I just want to make sure our audio is all right. Perfect. Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you. So we're good to go. Now, Patrick. Now, I saw a TV appearance with you and your famous brother. What's the name of your famous brother, by the way?
My brother's name is Boris Kodjoe.
And
you may recognize him from Station 19 on ABC right now. You guys better check him out.
Yeah. So I want to play this TV appearance with you and your brother were on. Let me play this for our audience. You guys seem to have a special bond. I think this captures some of you guys' energy. So I'll play this for our audience.
How to get
yes.
fit. That's right. So let's do it. Okay.
Oh wow.
Your brother is here. Well,
yes.
we're talking about our CoFit app, which is a health and fitness family app. It's a family health and fitness app. Say hi. Yes, Patrick Kodjoe.
Wow.
We're good.
A couple years ago, we launched fitness app.
We're trying to teach you how to look like this.
All of y'all look like this.
Exactly.
So really the app is how to be born a Kodjoe. I got it. I got it.
No, look. This is a family health and fitness app. We're focused on simplicity, okay?
Okay.
Simple workout tips, simple nutritional tips. My brother's a certified nutritionist and a trainer.
Nutritionist, life coach, all that stuff. So we try to simplify it for people, right?
Yeah.
There's so much information out there. It's all about food and workouts and diets and all that stuff. We're trying to simplify.
And so you can do this at home.
At home.
You can roll out of bed and do this.
Okay, so this
the
is a
key
jump
is
squat.
consistency. None of our workouts is longer than 20 minutes, and we involve our kids, which is the most fun.
All right, we're gonna work out real quick. And a quick circuit for you guys.
It was fun, man. It was fun.
Jump squat.
Okay, everybody knows a squat. I'm gonna go sideways.
Sideways.
Shift your weight back towards your heels. Get down. Make sure your back stays straight. Don't round your back and jump. Land soft on your toes. We're gonna do about 10. This is 3.
Wait, let's synchronize. Let's synchronize.
6. Okay. 8. 9.
Wait, I have to turn.
Beautiful, beautiful. All right.
Okay.
You're gonna get on the mat and gonna do some donkey kicks.
Donkey kicks.
Donkey kicks on all fours. Hands underneath your shoulders.
Okay.
You're gonna rotate your leg up one at a time, all right? So rotate it up. Squeeze your glutes. This is for the buns, ladies, for the buns. Booty.
Yeah,
Wow.
Patrick, that's cool, man. Look, I mean, right off the bat, how is it having a famous brother, my friend?
It was great. It was great. Listen, I couldn't be more proud of all of his accomplishments. Like you said, we're very close. We grew up in Germany. There's the only two little brown boys in our town, and essentially came over here to the States together to follow our respective sports careers, and we still talk basically on a daily basis, and we do a lot of projects, a lot of business ventures together, and it's phenomenal. I'm so proud of the guy, and I kind of watch in awe. So it's great. It's great for me. It's great for us to get together, get our kids together as much as we can. I'm blessed to have him as a bigger brother.
Yeah, and I noticed the lady in the middle. I don't want to be presumptuous, but is that your mother?
That's our mom. Yeah, that's our mom. She still lives in Germany. Still have a bunch of family over there, so we still spend quite a bit of time there. We try to visit at least once a year, something like that. She spends a lot of time here with us too. But and this is a picture from one of our events in Ghana, where she came and met us up there, and spent the week with us as we're doing our thing out there.
Yeah, and just having a famous brother like that, Patrick, how do you leverage his fame for business, or do you leverage his fame for business? It sounds like a smart business move to me, but
oh, of course, whenever it makes sense, right? So usually when I embark on a new venture in some capacity, we talk about it, and we figure out if it makes sense, if there's some synergy, if it makes sense for him to join me, or for us to bring him in some capacity. And because obviously with fame and celebrity comes visibility, and so the promotional aspect for a lot of these ventures is heightened when he's a part of it. So for some of these ventures that come across my desk, just jump out at me, and his brand may fit in, or he may have something else to bring to the table, and we join forces and go. So as much as we can, we work together.
yeah, Patrick, you seem to be very comfortable with your brother's fame. Where does that come from?
Oh yeah, I mean, why would I not be? He's other than my wife and kids, he's the closest person to me in the world, and has always been. So why wouldn't I be comfortable? Also, I never had aspirations for fame. I'm kind of the guy behind the scenes, in the shadows, like making moves. I'm not a big fan of cameras and stages and all that stuff. So we are quite different in that way. So I'm in awe of him being able to do that, and I become huge anxiety and all that whenever I have to do public speaking and all that, when I have to get on the stage and have to address a crowd of people, I force myself to, and I think especially when I have something that to share that benefits people and do it, but it's not really, it doesn't come natural to me, and for for him it does. So I'm in awe of that. But yeah, I'm very comfortable with his fame, and I wherever I can help him out to reach the next level, I jump in.
Yeah, I noticed that, and just in pre-production before we came on the show, and we were talking about, what can I ask, and you were like, man, I'm an open book. You can ask me any question. Your audience can ask any question, and yeah, and so I really appreciated that, and I'm sure our audience does as well. We have a young audience, parents with younger children, 25 and less. Some of us have teenagers. So it's just good to share experiences as a successful person like yourself. And some of us may have a famous sibling in the future. So what recommendations will you have for a person that's in your shoes?
That's really no recommendations. I think you gotta appreciate that and value it, and kind of realize how much of a blessing that is, because it does come with a lot of access. It does come with a lot of perks, and for me it's great because I'm on the periphery of it, so I don't have to be on red carpets, on stages, and on camera a lot. Here and there I do, but mostly I don't. So for me it works out great because I'm not that guy in a lot of these in these joint ventures that we embark on. I can just kind of push him on stage and have him promote, have him kind of spread the word. So it works out great for me in that capacity.
So Patrick, I noticed something. I noticed that, let me show a picture. I noticed two things, and I'm going to get your feedback on it. So here's a picture of you and your brother and you guys' lovely wives. And I noticed two things. One, you and your brother married women with the same first name.
Right.
Your same first name. Both are named Nicole, which
That's
I thought
right.
was very interesting.
That's
The
right.
second thing I noticed is both of you married black women. Both of you have
certainly
black
do.
wives. And so I'm curious, was that intentional, having, choosing a black lady, a black wife?
Not really, man. It's we're mixed. Our mother's white. Our dad was African. And we grew up in Europe also. So I don't think either one of us made that choice consciously. Essentially, just where our love fell, and that was it. But in terms of intentionally choosing a woman of color for wives, I can't say it was intentional, but it worked out great, and they're both named Nicole, which is slightly confusing for people, but here we are.
Yeah, excellent. Yeah, great answer. Hey guys, if you like what you're hearing, get the likes up, share the video, and put your comments or questions in the chat. If you have questions for Patrick, put the questions in the chat. It's helpful if you put a Q:, so we can instantly recognize any questions that you may have for Patrick. So Patrick, when will be the next time you're going to see your brother, and when's the next time you guys, what other ventures you guys have in the near term future?
I just saw him. I was out in LA last week, saw him, and I'll probably be over there within the next couple of weeks. Again, I have quite a bit of business out there, so I go back and forth. I'm in Houston, Texas, but I'm on the road quite a bit, and we see each other frequently. We also try to get our families together as much as we can. we actually had a trip planned this over New Year's to the Caribbean, but that didn't pan out because of COVID. So we're trying to figure something out. Trying to figure out the next time we can get the the whole families together, the wives, the cousins, and all that. Should be soon.
Where does that tight bond, in your opinion, come from? Is it a product of your upbringing, or you and Boris are super tight, and when everyone talks about that, where did that come from? How did Boris influence you with that type of connection, being a big brother? I'm a big brother. Was there a big brother connection there that caused you guys to be so tight?
Yeah, I mean, we grew up very close in Germany, and came here to go to college. And he played tennis in college. I played basketball. So essentially we came by ourselves. So we were here in the States, and just him and I. The rest of the family was in Germany and in Africa. So I think that may have contributed. But he's always been, my guiding light, kind of. He's also Phil, kind of. We grew up with a single mom. We spent time with our dad, but he was in Austria. We were in Germany, so we grew up with her predominantly. So he filled a bit of a father role for me as well. So that may have contributed also.
Excellent. Let's go to the chat and see any questions in the chat, guys, that we could share with Patrick. I don't see any cues out there. We might be able to move on to the next segment. I think there may be a question here. Here, Patrick. What is the investment climate like in Ghana? And what are the core industries?
Very good question. Very good question.
Yeah.
So as part of the what we do over there in terms of events, we are working on economic development and foreign investment. Also, we both Boris and I have diplomatic passports in Ghana. So we do our best to kind of aid in the development of the Ghanaian economy, and it's that right now it's bustling over there, man. Like Ghana is one of the I think it's still in the top 10 fastest growing economies in the world, and it's wide open, man. And it's really surprising that people don't consider Ghana and other parts of Africa for investment, because it's kind of obvious, because there's so much room for growth in all these essential sectors. When you talk about manufacturing, you talk about tourism first of all, obviously, but then sectors like agriculture and manufacturing are wide open for growth. So it's even tech and tech innovation is it's bustling over there. So it's definitely worth looking into, and that's it's part of what we work on too with our events and the verticals for those events.
Hey, here's another question, Patrick, and we're going to get into more of your personal in the next segment, but just jumping ahead, people have questions. So our African brothers and sisters friendly inviting of their African American brothers and sisters. Would you like to?
Absolutely.
Would you like for us to visit and learn our real culture?
Absolutely. I think it's critical, and we're gonna talk a lot about that in the next segment, I guess.
Yeah, in the next segment we're gonna get into that. Go ahead,
right.
though.
But it's they're absolutely welcoming. It's and especially Ghana, which is within Africa, has kind of the vibe and the branding of being like an access point to Africa. It's for Westerners. it's easy access because people are so warm and friendly, and their mantra is Akwaba, which means welcome. And you see that you go over there, you see that everywhere, and it's really like a dynamic of inviting people, and especially people as part of the diaspora, brown faces from anywhere else in the world. They invite them in, and it's a fantastic. Excuse me. It's a fantastic vibe over there, and and we'll talk about it. I think it's critical, especially for African Americans, to experience that. I think it's vital.
Yeah, another question. How were race relations in Germany as compared to America? I knew that question was coming, Patrick.
Right. It's and this may surprise a lot of you that for us growing up in Germany in the 70s, 80s, and early 90s, we really experienced very little racism, very little malignant racism, right? So the racism we experienced here was mainly based on ignorance. So people would come up and touch our hair and kind of ask us questions that about Africa and things like that. But there was really not much malignant racism, and we didn't really. I really didn't experience much of that until I came to America. So Boris and I were the only two little brown faces in our town, and but it was kind of like it was almost idyllic, and we grew up in the Black Forest in Germany. It was it was nature and small town vibe and good food and close knit community. And when we came over here, this American brand of racism is very unique. It's very it's very out there, very very on the nose. So it's really no way to get away from it. And this is again, it's part of why we do the work we do with Full Circle Festival, because it is it's very very obvious and very toxic. It's extremely toxic, and if it's where for the African American community it's the norm, and that alone is such a profound realization, and it really came to a head when we took a lot of African Americans over to Africa for the first time. We kind of saw the double identity fall away and all that. So we'll expound on that in a little bit.
All right. What entrepreneur ventures you're working on in Africa was another question. I'm not sure if we're going to hit that later, Patrick.
Well, we can get that now.
Okay.
It's a few of them. Like for one, is we're going to expand our event series. So we, as part of the success of the first couple of events we did there before COVID hit, Boris and I went and spoke at the African Union and got their support, and essentially they're asking us to duplicate that model and take it to other parts of Africa. So we don't just bring guests for their experience. We also bring we bring investors, we bring finance people, we bring bankers, and we get them together with the local administrations to see where we can help out in terms of foreign investment. So we have some projects in agriculture. We have some projects pending in construction and development. So there's a wide gamut of what we kind of have our fingers in over there.
Okay. What about dual citizenship? Is it easy to get dual citizenship, USA and Africa?
It is now, especially in Ghana, so we work with the Ghanaian administration, with the president, and with the Office of Diaspora Affairs, and they've made it very easy for people to obtain citizenship and even to purchase property. So I know a few countries there now have these these programs and projects in place where they invite the diaspora essentially to come back and invest and stay and move there. And so it is much easier now than it used to be. I have dual citizenship with Germany and Ghana, and it's definitely something to consider.
All right, let's for the sake of time, we'll keep the show moving. Guys, save those questions that you have in the chat after our next segment. I really want to get the audience a better opportunity to know Patrick. So let's go into your personal history, you personally, a little more. I want you to tell us a little more about, where do you grow up? What major city in Germany is that near? Where do you call home now, and what are you passionate about?
Sure. So I grew up with Boris in the Black Forest in Germany. It's the very southwestern corner. So we had about 30 minutes to Switzerland, 20 minutes to France in that little corner. We were in a village called Gundelfingen. That's a suburb of Freiburg. So Freiburg is the major city. It's about maybe 400,000, something like that. But we grew up in the suburbs, on a small town environment, right on the edge of the Black Forest. So we were, about 20 minutes from ski slopes, and forests, rivers, creeks, all that stuff in a small town, like you'd imagine it. And but it's a great corner in within Germany, because it's the climate is great. It's very warm, but we do have winters, and we're close to everything. We're 30 minutes from Switzerland, right around the corner from France. So in 3.5 hours we can be in Paris. In about 2.5, 3 hours we're in Milan in Italy. We're very close to Holland, Belgium, in that corner of the world. We're about 5-6 hour drive from the south of France, from the Mediterranean. So we can get to anywhere within a few hours, and in any direction in a couple of hours. There's a whole new culture, a whole new vibe, whole new everything. So it's great to be that central and have to kind of be able to explore a bunch of different cultures, different foods, different everything, different languages within a few hours. So now I'm based in Houston, Texas. That's where my wife is from. I've been here for about a decade, so it's quite the departure from Europe in terms of culture and vibe. But I'm slowly getting used to it.
Okay.
But fortunately, I'm still we do travel a lot. I'm on the road a lot with business, but we also travel. I travel with my whole family. To me, especially as it pertains to my kids, I have a 10-year-old daughter and an 18-year-old stepson. And as it pertains to them, I think traveling is just the best form of education, and just I think it's critical for kids to experience that, just for the sake of widening their perspective and really turning them into well-rounded, empathetic human beings.
Yeah, I was looking at your social media page, and I found this on you. It talks a little bit about your background here. Can you talk to this? And in particular, I saw this mental mentality of a 9-year-old.
Oh yeah, man. It's the Peter Pan in me. Like I most of the time I feel like I act like a grown up, and I'm still kind of a kid, which which I don't really want to lose that. Like I try to approach everything with fun and positive energy, and like I always say, I live in gratitude, right? And that's part of it. I try to keep my youthful spirit as much as I can. Obviously there things that we all go through, but I think just being grateful for what I have, and who I am, and what I've done, and for the failures I've experienced that made me better. I think that's critical. So that's essentially what that means. But this thing is almost, it's already a little bit outdated. Like I know there's a few of my ventures on there. World of Alpha is a clothing company that launched more than 10 years ago. We are in the process of relaunching that. That's essentially affordable custom tailoring, which is phenomenal. That's in the conceptualization phase of that. I spent the better part of 3 years in and around Asia. This is around 2008, 09, 2010, something like that. I spent, because we're based with this venture, we're based in Thailand. It's a beautiful country, and I spent a lot of time there, spent a lot of time in China and Hong Kong for that. That's very near and dear to my heart, and Boris is involved with that too. Above that, it's the Essence Full Circle Festival. That's mostly what we're going to be talking about here. That's our event series in Africa. Also, very purpose driven to me. That's really what fuels a lot of me is this type of purpose. Above that is CoFit. That's the fitness app that Boris and I launched. That's the clip you saw earlier, and we're relaunching that also. Looks like March 1st. That's you'll see most of these ventures incorporate some form of benefit to people at large. So we talk about the fitness app specifically. It was aimed at just especially in our community. We have just this obesity crisis. You have 80% of Black women being overweight or obese, and I have part of my background also, as you may have heard there in that segment, is that I am a certified trainer and a nutritionist and a life coach. It was kind of came naturally as having played basketball in college and professionally. It was kind of an extension of that, and the benefit to the fitness app is, essentially that we want to instill healthy habits in people and help them how to break a lot of these unhealthy habits and unhealthy cycles, and just put out a bunch of information that benefits them and kind of breaks paradigms that have people stuck in their rut. Above that is Neuroventures, a hologram company that I have minority ownership in, and I work with them. I consult in business development. That's super exciting. That's how you and I met, right?
Yeah, that's how we met, and I'm gonna actually show a video of it from the website, so we'll show that.
That's pretty phenomenal.
Yeah, we'll show that a little later. It's hard to describe it. You just have to see it.
Yeah. It's I usually describe it as a Zoom call on steroids, because it's these 7-foot hologram boxes where you can beam anyone from anywhere in the world into that box like you would with a Zoom call, except it's volumetric, holographic. So you basically feel like the person standing right in front of you in that box. It's pretty crazy, and you can do a bunch of other things with the technology. Also, there's a lot of additional content that you can display and show, and it's really cool technology that we're putting out. We're also coming out with a mini unit for home use, about 24 inches tall, something like that. And you can then communicate with each other like you would on a Zoom, except like it really looks like a miniature version of you inside that box. So I'm pretty excited about that. I'm working on a bunch of verticals for that company. Yeah, anything, and we talked about this. Anything I do, it's essentially like it has to mean something to me. It has to be exciting. It most of the time it has to be purpose driven. But my requirement is that I have to, anything I'm involved with, I have to have some ownership in it. So that's where that entrepreneurial spirit comes in. And there you go. But it has to, at the end of the day, it has to be fun. It has to be worth it for me. Right? And a lot of it is purpose. And but as part of, I have with my business partner that got me into PORTL, I already have 2, 3, 4, 5 other ventures that we're exploring. We just started essentially a medical wing of what we're doing, where we're bringing a range of medical modalities to doctors' offices that actually save lives and that revolutionize that space as well. So I'm just grateful to be able to be in a position to be able to explore these different things and to kind of put my energy into where it makes sense, where I feel it, and where I see purpose. Right.
So Patrick, good stuff. Tell us a little more about your ethnic background. We haven't really dug into your ethnic background and how that shaped you as a person. You alluded to it a little earlier, and it sounds like your wife as well. Can you share with our audience? I'm out here in Seattle. We certainly have a blended mix here in the Northwest. So can you expand on that a little bit?
Sure. Yeah. My mother's German Caucasian. She's white. As I mentioned, we grew up over there. Our dad was Ghanaian from West Africa, from Ghana, where we started doing our event series, and it's certainly part of the reason because we do have roots there. We still have a lot of family in Ghana. We spent quite a bit of time there as kids, so we're very connected to Ghana as well. So for both Boris and myself, growing up as little mixed brown kids in Germany basically set the stage for us to for us not to fit in, first of all, and that kind of forced us to kind of deal with the fact that we're different, and growing up, I give my mother a lot of credit for instilling that confidence in us to really embrace that, to really embrace being different and loving it and exploring it and being proud of it and communicating it, and essentially communicating that you don't have to always fit in. You can essentially define your own identity, and that can be a powerful thing, because it also I give my mother credit because it could have gone the other way where just as essentially outsiders there as brown people, we could have grown up without that confidence too, right? Because as outsiders and yet here we are, we kind of plotted our own path, and really embraced that being different vibe and that being different identity, and wouldn't have it any other way. And I try to do the same thing with my kids, to really instill confidence and the basic belief in life, and gratitude. So yeah.
Okay, all right, Patrick. Now, growing up in the Black Forest of Germany, how was it coming over to America And how the heck did you end up at Virginia Commonwealth University, VCU,
Right. Rams, baby.
from Germany? Man, I am from Virginia. I played basketball at Virginia Tech on the junior varsity team off of the bench. So I wasn't that good. I was super nervous as a basketball player. But how the heck did you, and I think Boris went to VCU as well. I'm not sure if you guys were there at the same time. How did
No,
that
I took over his apartment.
Oh, is that right? How did that
yeah.
come about?
And so he's a few years older than me, and he came straight to VCU to play tennis on the scholarship. So he had a Swedish coach that recruited him in Germany, and got him over there, and he played for 4 years. I was a little younger when I came. He was 19. He went first, and I came over there the following year as a 15-year-old, and partially because of Boris, they started recruiting me along with some other schools. And while I was still playing in Germany on the youth team, and I was on the youth national team and all that, so they recruited me there, and found me a high school prep school to go to because I was so young. So I came over and went to the collegiate school in Richmond. Actually, I went to Cape Henry School in Virginia Beach, so it was a different city.
Hey, that's the area I'm from. I'm actually from the Virginia Beach area. I'm from a little city called Suffolk. I'm not sure.
That's right. I know Suffolk very well. Yeah, I went to Cape Henry Collegiate School.
Oh, you okay?
Yeah, played basketball there. It's like a prep school, and it wasn't easy, man. It wasn't easy because I was 15, left all my friends behind in Germany, all my social circle and all that. And at that age, that's tough, right? So Boris was in Richmond, about 2 hours away, hour and a half, something like that. So I lived with a school administrator who had a essentially spare apartment in the basement. So I was kind of like kicking it on my own, but it was tough, man. It was tough to leave my friends behind for sure. It was socially was a regression because in Europe, like you socially you grow up a lot faster. You're independent a lot earlier. So I started going to clubs and going into the city by myself and all that stuff at like 12, 13 years old in Germany, and so in the U.S. and where I went in Virginia, you grow up a lot more sheltered. Right?
Yeah, it's a lot more restrictive, very restrictive.
Right, and there's no public transportation, so you're dependent on on somebody to drive you to places and all that stuff. So it was rough at first because the social life was, compared to Germany, was non-existent, and all my friends were over there, obviously, which is tough all in itself. And then you're being dropped into a whole new culture, I learned English in high school, so I didn't really speak English that well yet. So all the things together made it challenging for sure. Plus the new this American brand of these racial dynamics and all that stuff that I wasn't aware of or used to. So I had to had to jump in with both feet and kind of just deal with all that. And at 15, it's not easy. But yeah, and ended up at VCU. When I was old enough, and played there for 4 years. And it was great, great experience. Great. I loved Virginia, loved Richmond, loved VCU. It was a great place to play ball at. We had no football team at VCU, so
That's right.
We were kings of the campus, and we were running things, had a lot of fun, and it was great. It was great. Loving my VCU family, my Richmond family. Go Rams!
Yeah, and I got a good friend in the chat right now, Mr. T.R. Darden, that actually lives in the Richmond area.
Okay.
How did they, when you went to college at VCU, when you were attending school there, and your bio earlier said you majored in marketing, how did they treat you at VCU? You know, coming in after your brother, and then certainly you guys have those striking looks, right? You have that different look. What kind of love did you get at VCU in college, and were the women swooning?
I mean, I guess so. It was great. It was great to come in there. The campus life there is awesome. Yeah, they're women enrichment for sure. It was a great experience all the way around, from basketball to socially to all that stuff. So and again, as as a basketball player there's another level of access and perks and special treatment you get, that made it really made it great all the way around for me.
Yeah. What years were you there, Patrick?
It was in '96 to 2000.
Oh, okay. You were in '96, mid '90s. Okay.
Yeah. I was done in 2000. I was injured coming out. I had severe back issues my senior season. I had fractures in my back and bulging discs and stuff. My senior season, I couldn't play much. I started out playing, and really that I got shot up with cortisone every week, and so it wasn't ideal. I had to rehab for a year and a half after that season to be able to jump in and play again. And I played professionally in Europe for the following 6 years or so, something like that. But I couldn't stay healthy. I was a walking injury. So, but still, it's a great experience all the way around at VCU and beyond.
Yeah, and let's spin over to Africa and talk a little bit about Africa and with your Ghanaian background. How many countries have you been to over in the motherland? And did you visit there a lot as a child?
We spent quite a bit of time in Ghana, specifically because that's where our dad was from. He passed away a few years ago, but we still have a lot of family there. So growing up, we did visit quite a bit and spent significant time there, but not anywhere else on the continent. We basically just flew down there, spent time with the family, and then returned to Germany. So I got to explore the continent a lot more recently as part of the work we do over there, right? So when we, especially after the first event we did in December 2018 into the new year, based on the success of that and our partnership with the African Union, the following event we did was, again, we do an annual event there in Ghana in December, right after Christmas to New Year. So the second event was funded by Essence Ventures, the Essence magazine and Essence Fest in New Orleans. They jumped on. We did a joint venture with them, and they funded the second event. So that essentially doubled the scale of the first one. But during that year, in coordinating that second event, the African Union basically flew me around Africa to scout locations and make relationships in order to take that event to other places in Africa. So I got to explore. I think that year I flew to Africa, I want to say close to 15 times, something like that.
Oh, wow.
So I explored not only West Africa, but the whole southern part, the East Coast, Ethiopia, Kenya, down to Tanzania, spent a lot of time down in South Africa. And so that was phenomenal for me personally, just to be able to see other parts of Africa that I hadn't seen before, and it's phenomenal.
How did Africa influence you, and which tribe are you a descendant of over in Ghana?
Our tribe is Ga, from my family, and it's right on the southern coast where we're from. It's really like it's informed quite a significant part of my identity. What I so now I'll jump into full circle and what we did there. So in 2018, so let me jump here. The 2019 was the 400-year anniversary of the first slave ships leaving West Africa. So as part of that, the African president, Nana Akufo-Addo, fantastic guy, fantastic human, fantastic politician. He essentially he launched a year of return, 2019, where the vision was to get as many people to come back from other parts of the world, come back to Africa. So descendants of slaves, anyone with a brown face, would be invited to come back and at least experience the continent at least once. So as part of that, he invited my brother to do a launch event for that year of return. So the summer before that, we got together, and my thing has always been that I've always believed that Ghana and the African continent is suffering from an image and branding challenge, right? Because in the West, here in Europe and in the Americas, the only thing you ever see about Africa is famine, is wars, disease, is exodus to Europe, and just a bunch of negative things, essentially, right? And this one-sided media coverage really is is where we are today. And if you've ever been to Africa, it's first of all it's very large, it's very diverse in terms of what it has to offer, and it's beautiful. It has so much beauty, it has so much excellence, so many amazing people, and that gets lost in the shuffle just because essentially it gets more clicks and more attention for media outlets to show a little kid in front of a mud hut with flies buzzing around. A little malnourished kids gets more clicks than African city life and African middle class and nightlife and all that stuff that you don't see. So most people, when you talk to them here in the West, when you mention Africa, people think mud huts and disease and famine and just horrible stuff altogether, which I'm not saying doesn't exist, but it's certainly not the full picture, right? So the idea was that, okay, as part of this event to ring in the year of return, why don't we make it as big as it can be? Why don't we really try to blow it up? And the concept was actually pretty simple. Was that we just invite a bunch of our friends in the public eye that have reach and have a following on social media, and we invite a bunch of people that get it, that are on the same wavelength. Again, friends of ours, and we go there, we hang out, party for a week, and we do a social media push, basically showing the parts of African life that people don't get to see, right? So you're talking about middle class and luxury and nightlife and culture and all that good stuff, all that excellence that people don't get to see, and it worked phenomenally, actually. Like we were there on the ground for 7 days. During the day, we did a bunch of cultural things, and we visited slave castle dungeons and monuments and cultural festivities and things like that. At night we partied, and so it was kind of a well-rounded experience. And we did shoot out imagery related to our experience there, and it took off. We ended up with more than 300 million views on social media and a bunch of impact. We brought in around $2 billion into their economy the following year. And when in 2018, the Ghanaian government issued 40,000 tourist visas, and after we left, so in 2019, they issued over 1 million, right? And so they credit us with a large, in large part, to our efforts there with the event. And it was, you know, it was all around super gratifying. It was a great experience while we were there. But it kind of just took on a life of its own, and we started showing up on Ghana started showing up on all types of top 10 travel lists and that sort of thing. We essentially we as we were planning. The idea was we worked with the Office of the President and with the Tourism Authority there. We got sponsorship for 25 people, right? So we started inviting our friends. But once we started talking about it, people in our extended circle started booking around us, basically. So instead of 25, 30 people, we ended up taking about 120 people over there and you know, partied for that week, which was phenomenal. And you know, so we talk about the success of it and the visibility and the eyes on what we're doing. That's in large part based on not only Boris and his wife Nicole Parker, and our co-founder of Full Circle Festival, Bozoma St. John, who's the chief marketing officer for Netflix. But also the guests that we brought. So we're talking about Anthony Anderson and Rosario Dawson, and Idris Elba, Jesse Williams, with Mike Jai White and his wife. His whole family actually brought his kids too. We had Naomi Campbell came. We had Oswald Boateng. So a bunch of phenomenal friends of ours who really, you know, got the concept, who understood what we were trying to do, and jumped in really full force and started shooting out these images with us, and it was phenomenal. It was really, really great and purposeful, and it kind of really just took off after that. As I said, Boris and I went and spoke at the African Union and got their support, and you know, then we jumped into that joint venture with Essence and blew the event up for the following year. So then December 2019. With Essence, we brought 350 people over there, and did a similar thing within, you know, a week of you know, partying and exploring and hanging out. Was phenomenal too. And then, you know, that's when COVID hit, so we were forced into a COVID break basically. But we're on the cusp of picking it back up and you know, taking this event back to Ghana, but also back to other parts of the continent.
Yeah, and we're going to share some pictures from those events. You know, in your opinion, what is the special bond between Black Americans in Africa, specifically Ghana, since that's your background, that most of us are not aware of until we get there?
Right. Well, and the funny part about the experience for me or for Boris and I was that the concept and the mission behind what we're doing initially was to change the narrative about Africa, to show the whole picture, to you know, kind of open up people's eyes to the real Africa, and to kind of help with economic development and having, you know, help with tourism and things like that. To essentially help rebrand Ghana and Africa as a whole. Once we got there, we took a lot of first timers to Africa. So most of the guests we invited had never been to the continent. So by way of our path, we didn't really think about that experience from their perspective, right? Because, you know, again, we still have family in Ghana now. We're connected. We grew up in Germany, but spent a lot of time in Ghana. Our connection, the connection to our ancestry isn't cut for us. We're very much connected. We know exactly, you know, where we're from, what tribe we're from, all that. For African Americans specifically, it's a very different story, right? That connection is completely cut. The bridge is completely cut to you know, most African Americans aren't able to trace their ancestry back to, a specific family in a specific country in Africa, right? You can do genetic testing now where you kind of find out which region you're from, but your family connection is severed completely due to slavery, due to how most of us got here. That wasn't on my radar when we started these events. So it was very, very, it was profound to see our guests experience just setting foot on the continent for the first time. We had so many people break down in tears and just having these transformational experiences. It was absolutely crazy. So especially when we visited the Cape Coast slave dungeon, like we had people go through such profound transformative experiences that we realized for African Americans specifically, like this is critical, like this experience is needed and is a complete game changer in terms of self-definition and cultural self-definition and just a cultural foundation, right? So that became the second pillar to what we're doing there. Like now it's really like a lot of the focus is rebuilding the bridge, rebuilding the connection between African Americans and their ancestry by way of just experiencing it, just going and experiencing it. And it really, like, once we start thinking about it, it's so profound to have, for African Americans to have their norm and their home be a country where they never truly feel welcomed, right? To have that be your home is PTSD all in itself. Right? That's just a toxic way to experience life. When your home is a place where you have to put on a double identity. You have to kind of watch your back, and you never truly feel welcome. And then you go to Ghana, and you get off the plane, and everybody looks like you, and everybody who's running things looks like you, and everybody's welcoming, and the double identity falls off, and you can be yourself truly for the first time in your life, and it's profound, man. This is based on the feedback from our guests, and it's really something that we feel every brown face in the world that lives in with a white backdrop or lives in a place where he doesn't feel, he or she doesn't feel truly welcome, to experience that is a true game changer, right? So that's one main pillar next to the changing the narrative about Africa. That's the other pillar that we're focused on, and I'm actually on the executive board now of an organization called Birthright Africa. It's another great organization, and they essentially facilitate that. And long term with Birthright Africa, we're our aim is to duplicate the Israeli model, where, I'm not sure if you're aware, but Birthright Israel is essentially it's a privately funded venture where over the past, I'm not sure when it started, but it's been going on for decades, where if you have any Jewish heritage, and I think between the ages of 18 and 30, you can make your way to New York, and they put you on a plane to Israel, and you're hosted there for 2 weeks, essentially reconnecting with your ancestry. Right? It's free. It's phenomenal. It's a phenomenal program. And again, it's privately funded there. And so with Birthright Africa, we're essentially taking a page out of their book, and we want to facilitate trips to the continent from everywhere, from anywhere else in the world, especially here in America, so you can have that experience. And arguably for African Americans, it might be even more important to reconnect with your ancestry. So I'm excited about that venture also.
Excellent. Let's go over to the chat. And guys, like the video. If you like the content that you hear, if you're getting something from this, you hear sticking with us, it's free. Like the video, share the content. This is intended for our children. Patrick came on as a successful entrepreneur and businessman to share some of his experience for our loved ones. So like the video and share it. And I'm going to go over here to the chat, start hitting people that put cues up in the comments. Got one from Mr. Shannon Allen. Yeah, Patrick. I suffice you know. We both met you together in Las Vegas. So, so what is the ease of doing business in Ghana compared to other countries in Africa? And there's some more there.
It's fairly straightforward. It's fairly straightforward. And they've been working hard to facilitate foreign investment and foreign business consciously over the past few years there. So it's not as difficult as you're led to believe, really, because as part of that narrative that gets pushed, that one-sided narrative, it's also part of that whole famine, disease, wars narrative. It's also that it's corruption and all that type of stuff. So it's once you're there and you're building your network and your infrastructure there, it becomes like anything else. Like it's pretty straightforward. And there's still parts in Africa that where corruption is still part of the deal. So you got to be wary depending on where you are, but it's fairly straightforward.
Okay, here's another question in the chat. What is the estimated cost of living there?
Oh, it's phenomenal. It's it's a lot cheaper than here, from anything from real estate to general cost of living. And there are a lot of people, and we had a few of our guests actually moved back. So a lot of our guests are spending significant time over there now, and are building their own networks there. But it's really, once you go and once you see the way you can live and the type of community you have there, like once you visit, people are a lot of African Americans are now considering going back, and that's why the government there is working on facilitating and simplifying the path to citizenship, the path to moving, the path to investing there.
Yeah, I think Ms. Jones had a question with that cough. No pun intended. How is Africa handling the COVID pandemic? I think we have a jokester in the building.
Yeah, they're handling it very well, and all of Africa is handling COVID very well, with a few exceptions. I know there was a flare up in South Africa, there was a flare up in Egypt at some point, but because one, obviously, that the healthcare systems there aren't as robust as ours may be, because Africa has had experience, especially with Ebola, they knew they couldn't screw around, right? So as soon as it hit, pretty much all of Africa shut down travel, and they went into complete shutdown mode pretty much immediately, which kept the numbers down very effectively, right? And again, as part of Africa didn't get a lot of credit for that. And in the media, you see, you didn't get a lot of coverage, but it's because of that. It's because they're actually successful in curbing it. Much better in Europe, much better than most parts of Asia, and much better than here. But part of it is definitely because they knew they couldn't screw around, and they had seen what Ebola can do, right? So. Yeah, they did very, very well, considerably better than we did in the West.
Here's another question from Mr. Anthony. He's talking about their programs financially that you can assist in for building orphanages in Ghana. I could put that back up.
Okay, building orphanages. Okay. Yeah, I can definitely assist, and they're numerous NGOs working in that space all over Africa, and there are definitely a few in Ghana as well. And yeah, I welcome anyone's effort to jump in and to to build in that space. It's it's still needed. Along with other economic development, right? So as general economic development is funneled more into Africa and Ghana, those types of effort will be less and less needed, right? So this is part of where President Addo's mission comes in. To eventually, he wants to his whole aim and mission is to free Africa from foreign aid and become truly autonomous and self-sustaining. Because part of these what foreign aid does, it kind of keeps the neo-colonial clause in the continent, right? So where there's still a lot of the dynamic is still as such that still these. I'll give you an example. The former French colonies are still very much dependent on France. Part of it is because France houses all their financial instruments.
Hell no to the no, hell to the no.
Right. So France still serves as the treasury for all the former French colonies, right? So they're basically still tied in to France and France's, the administration there in France, that they're kind of stunted in the head what they can do on their own. So their currency is still printed in Paris, and they hold all their reserves in Paris. So that even though all African countries are independent now, true independence will only come with self-sustainability and autonomy. So that's where right, exactly. So this is what we're pushing for economic development that's meaningful and that's independent, to where it's essentially becomes empowering for African governments to be in the driver's seat truly.
Another question, I think related to that: does the Chinese have a big presence in Africa, Ghana?
They do. So does Russia. So do
Russia. I wasn't aware of Russia. Wow.
Yeah, so do some former European colonial powers. There's still you see, but especially China in East Africa, you see so many, especially when you talk about manufacturing sector, you see Chinese factories pop up everywhere, especially around Eastern Africa, and it makes sense. They're African, just numerically and statistically, like the labor force in Africa is vast and profound, and the populace is very young. So we in America, we're so far behind in terms of development and influence on the continent in a positive way, just economically, that it's really it's hard to watch. Like I think this thing is that still, like the vast majority of our operational presence in Africa is military still. So that I think for every one diplomat in Africa, for every one American diplomat in Africa, there are, I want to say, 9 or 10 military personnel, which doesn't make any sense, right? It makes no sense at all, and it's very short-sighted. So we have to military-industrial complex to thank for that. But on the other side, like there's no reason why the private sector shouldn't be, looking more in Africa for opportunity and for more of a firmer leg to stand on. Yeah, because it's opportunity. It's room for growth. As you can accomplish a lot there. There's a lot of innovation. There's a lot of, a lot of people, if nothing else, that can push innovation forward.
Yeah, another question about us nearing retirement. What is the average cost of building a retirement home over there in Africa, Ghana? Do you know?
Oh, I don't have that information right off the bat. Are you talking about just a home for yourself to retire in, or an actual retirement home for people to live in?
Yeah, a place to retire at. I know some of us are looking
just property.
Property that you could live in, maybe have a maid's quarters, and the standard of living is different for Americans going over there.
Yeah, I mean it's significantly cheaper than here, obviously, and your standard of living, of living, I can promise you will skyrocket, not only from a financial aspect, but just from a community aspect too. Because you still have, that there, and this is what you don't see about Africa in the West. This is why we're doing it. Like there's a solid African middle class, and there's luxury, and they're from 5-star hotels to luxury restaurants and rooftop clubs and all that stuff. All that stuff, is ubiquitous over there in big cities, but you don't hear about it. So this is like as we're doing our social media push, the most feedback we got from what we were posting was was nightlife, right? So we were showing like these luxury rooftop clubs and things like that, and luxury restaurants and all that stuff, and people would flood our comments with, "Oh, I didn't know they had money for that over there," and blah blah. And this is because of the one-sided media coverage, right? So the life over there from that standpoint is just phenomenal. Like you can live, affordably, cheap, and still, they're phenomenal food, phenomenal restaurants, social life, nightlife, middle class life, shopping, all that stuff is there, and quality life, amazing.
Yeah, does that mean you have a question from Miss Jams? Do we have a lot of mixed marriages with Chinese and Russians and stuff over there?
I not so much I've seen some of that in Ghana, but I suspect that's more in Eastern Africa. And so you're talking about Ethiopia, Eritrea, even Kenya, and because that's where most of Chinese industry is located, and okay. I suspect that's going to be the case moving forward, because that's a fairly new phenomenon over the past, I'd say 10, 15 years, something like that. So I suspect that will be the case going forward.
All right, another question from Capoli TV, Mr. JMJ, proprietor of Capoli TV. He has a question: what is the best opportunity for growth investment? Farming, beachfront real estate, land banking over there in Ghana.
Yeah, land banking for sure, and farming, like agriculture. I'd say agriculture and manufacturing first and foremost. So agriculture, they're making great strides in agriculture and agriculture infrastructure, and then manufacturing is going to be huge going forward. And that's, those are the industries that do promote a healthy middle class, which is great. I see where Africa is today as where say Korea and China was 30, 40 years ago or something like that, where specifically there manufacturing really established a healthy middle class. And yeah.
Yeah, there was another question in the chat from my niece down in Orlando, Florida, Miss Kiki. How sufficient is the healthcare system in Guyana? Sorry,
great.
Ghana. I said
Yeah,
Ghana. Sorry about that, Ghana.
it's great. It's solid. Like I've been to the hospital there. I've been, again, I especially when I play ball, like I'm a walking injury. So you better believe I've been to the hospital there, and it's a solid experience, and it's a lot cheaper than here. I can tell you that. Like the healthcare system in this country is it's rough. When you talk about having grown up, especially having grown up in Europe, the fact that you guys don't force the government to pay for your health care it blows my mind.
Yeah, it's
It's
different over there, huh? You guys
like
are
please,
covered.
please realize that America is the only industrialized country where that doesn't exist. It's the only industrialized country where they get away with this Republican policy of like not like everywhere else in the industrialized Western world. So let's compare apples to apples. You have free secondary education, free college, free healthcare, free maternal leave, all those things that are at the foundation of you not having to worry about becoming homeless within a week if something happens. Right? This is America's the only country where they get away with that, and it's sadly I think it's because of a lack of frame of reference. But let's keep pushing them in that direction. Like it's hard to watch. It's hard to watch people go bankrupt because they had an accident, a car accident, and they have to be in the hospital for a week. Like it's tough, man. Like that shouldn't happen.
Yeah, but in America it's all about the taxes, right? Because I know when I talk to
Listen,
my
it
European
doesn't.
friends.
Let me stop you right there.
Go
You
ahead,
don't pay.
please.
You don't pay more. You don't pay many more taxes in Europe. And if
Really?
I've been saying for 20 years that if you just cut the military budget by 25-30%, you can pay for all that stuff. Like it's ridiculous. Like it's a close to $1 trillion budget every year for the military industrial complex, and they exist for no apparent reason. Like please, it's so hard. Like from my vantage point, this is hard to watch. Like there's no reason why America has 800 plus military bases on foreign soil. Absolutely no reason. Like the only reason for that is that there are millions of people that are tied into that military industrial complex and making a lot of money. Not just the actual personnel, but you're talking about mainly you're talking about the industry around it. You're talking about all the companies that benefit that built the military industrial complex, and from anyone from weapons manufacturers to infrastructure to everything else. Everyone that's tied in, that's who's benefiting, and by way of the American lobbying system being legalized corruption, they have the thumb on the political apparatus that keeps approving these insane budgets. Right, so it's hard to watch. It's hard to watch.
Yeah, great points. And I'm glad you cut me off there, Patrick. I mean, very good points. I haven't thought about it from that perspective. If anyone would know, you would know. So another question related to taxes. Do people of Ghana pay taxes there?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Same. Very similar political systems all through Africa's democracies. It's either fairly similar systems. You have republics. You have other forms of democracies where same thing. You vote, you pay taxes, and you vote the people in that you believe will spend the taxes in a way that vibes with your value system.
Yeah, and I know in some countries when you buy a house, you don't pay taxes on a house. You buy a house, you own it. I'm not sure if Ghana is the same way.
Ghana has some property taxes, but they're very low.
Okay. All right. All right. So let's spin off and hey guys, get the likes up and share the video. And if you like what you're hearing, please, it's free. Get the likes up. It helps with the algorithm with YouTube, so more people can see this great content that's being provided today. So let's talk business. Let's talk about Full Circle Festival, the Full Circle Festival here. Where did that name come from? And then let's go through some of the pictures you provided for our audience. You have a lot of celebrity friends here in these pictures at this festival, but where did that name come from, Patrick?
So my brother's wife came up with that. As we were looking for a name, kind of brainstorming, she came up with Full Circle Festival as a name, just in line in line with our mission to kind of just bring everything full circle and to have people come back to the continent, and especially if their ancestral ties have been cut, right? So to then after 400 years end up back on the continent, it's a full circle moment. So it originated in that, and Nikki came up with that as we're kind of coordinating and planning the first event.
Okay, let me do this. Let me show some pictures of that we have from the Full Circle that you provided here, and we could go through this. Who is this distinguished gentleman?
This is President Nana Akufo-Addo,
the president of Ghana. I mean, is that the president?
That's him. And so he's the chairperson for our events. He's the one that invited Boris first to come host an event bringing in the Year of Return 2019, and he's been there for and with us every step of the way. Amazing guy, super smart, and again, his mission is to help Ghana and Africa become truly independent of foreign aid. And he's an amazing partner to having it.
Okay, so I got a number of pictures to flip through here, and I maybe because I have just a good number, if you want to stop us in a particular one, just let me know. But some amazing pictures from your Full Circle Festival event.
Yeah, I guess these will be pictures of all the events and activities and experiences we had on the ground. This is where we visited the Akwamo tribe. This is and you can speed through these, or I guess I'll comment on this. This is Anthony Anderson and his wife. This is January 1st in the morning at about 5:30 a.m. As this is after 2 or 3 rooftop nightclubs where we partied all night and then ended up at the beach, bringing in the new year, and witnessing the sunset and kind of having a rejuvenation, rebirth moment on January 1st. This is how we brought in the year 2019, and then we had breakfast set up right there for 120 people on the beach. It's phenomenal. This is the following year. This is the same day. This is January 1st, 2020, as we're bringing in the new year as part of the Essence funded second Full Circle Festival, where we had at that point, like, because of the first event and its success, they actually built a nightclub with a pool right on the beach for us that they kept running for the whole week we were there, and it's phenomenal.
Yeah, and Patrick, are you guys planning to have this event in 2022 in this whole COVID environment?
We're poised to bring the events back this year to 2022.
Now you have a lot of celebrity guests and friends of yours in this 2022 event. will, I think it's special invitation. I'm not sure, would normal people like us be able to be a part of that? What is going to be like the
Yeah,
celebrity mix in that?
it's open for everybody, and we're changing the format a little bit to where it's really conducive to growth. Like we're gonna have our group, and we, again, we're bringing celebrity friends, um, that really understand the vision and the mission behind it. That's Diggy Simmons. He came the first year.
Go ahead. I didn't mean to
Amazing,
cut you
amazing
off,
guy.
but go
No, no
ahead.
worries.
I'm gonna
You
flip
keep
through
going.
the
I can
I'm gonna
chime.
flip through
I
the
can chime.
photos as you talk about people
Yeah.
can join this 2022 festival and when is it? And we'll go
Yeah.
into
So
your deck in a minute, but go ahead, Patrick.
yeah, what we'll do is we're gonna keep our group of more high profile people, celebrities. We're gonna keep that group fairly small, so we're able to kind of move more flexibly, because it's a beast to host an event for 350 people, and flying 350 people in and all that stuff. That's Dougie Fresh and Richelieu Dennis, who is the chairperson and owner of Essence Communications. That's Ebro from Hot 97 in New York. Back there in the background is Mike Hill from ESPN. These are all dear friends of ours who really did their part. But back to the format, we're going to keep our group fairly small, but we're going to have what we're going to do is we're going to build partnerships with airlines and hotels, to where we're gonna promote and offer discounts for people to book themselves, right? So just for the sake of making it an easier lift for us, and for especially to facilitate more people coming, we're just going to promote these partnerships where people can save and still be part of it, and then we're going to promote events on the ground where we can then interact with all the guests that came, right? So people will be able to book themselves, but then we'll interact with them and we'll have these experiences with them on the ground once we're there. And then it's also more flexibility for people in terms of what they want to do. So we're going to offer these experiences, say in Ghana. This is also January 1st, this picture, sunrise at Labadi Beach. This is our first group of about 120 people. You see Judena here on the left, but this is also where I surprised AJ Johnson, our dear friend, an actress. I surprised her with a priest, as she expressed some interest in getting baptized. So I got a priest, and we ended up baptizing her here on January 1st, early morning sunrise on Labadi Beach in the water. Us at like 5 a.m. the first night we went out. It's Idris Elba and Mike Jai and his wife Jillian. Idris DJ'd the second night. He DJ'd at a rooftop party we had. But yeah, these experiences will last a lifetime. This is the Kwame Nkrumah Mausoleum. This is the first Ghanaian president who was laid to rest, and we're there at the site. Yeah, just really, really fun times. But yeah, we're so it's a press conference we had there on the ground when we first got there. Yeah, so the format will actually lend itself for us to host more people, as opposed to us coordinating for everybody.
I think that's your wife up front and some
That's
other
my wife up
celebs.
front. My brother's wife to her right, behind us,
Yeah.
Simon Hunsu from Gladiator. Then we had in the back row there, we have this right behind me is John Utendahl, vice chair of Bank of America. And we have Diggy Simmons, Jaimin, and we have Edward Enfield, who's the editor-in-chief of British Vogue, another phenomenal guy. We have Bozoma here on the left, and Mike Jain's wife right next to her. We have Eric Moore, who's a founder of of a financial firm. And in the back there with Edward Enninful is the it's Liam Payne from One Direction, from the pop group sensation. So it's a British musician who came, super cool guy, and he obviously whenever he posted something, it would blow up and result in millions and millions of views and comments and everything else. It was a great mix of people, from executives to bankers to actors and entertainers to athletes, all on the same wavelengths, on the same wavelength, and yes, it was phenomenal. This is where we had a meeting with the president right before that. As Rosario Dawson, our dear friend, she's phenomenal. She's awesome. She actually has a clothing company called 817 that's based in Ghana. This is also January 1st, sunrise, New Year's party. This right here is at the Cape Coast Slave Dungeon. It's a profound experience for a lot of us. Again, we had a lot of people breaking down, and it's a very, very profound experience. But it's also it's amazingly empowering if you think about they'll walk you through all the crazy hardships experienced there at that place, where essentially slaves would get processed, right? So they'd spend 60, 90 days in these dark dungeons underground, no light, no bathrooms, people dying, hardly any food, just despicable conditions. From there, they would go through that door, the door of no return. They would be loaded on the ships like sardines. They'd endure that journey to the Americas, and then essentially get sold into slavery, right? And generations of abuse there. But so when you first hear about that and think about it, it's depressing and it's horrible. But when you think about it, in the very next step, if you're an African American alive today, like your ancestors survived all that, right? They survived every step of that crazy way where millions died. So you are the strongest of the strong if you think about it. Your ancestry is the ancestry of kings. You've survived everything, and you're here to tell the tale and to live it and to live their wildest dream. Right. So you on the one hand, you're blessed, but you also you have a responsibility to live that dream and to make the best out of any and everything. So it becomes hugely empowering when you think about the strength you hold inside of you as a survivor. This is New Year's Eve. This is as we're bringing in the new year 2020. This is Naomi Campbell's right there in the middle. It's again Rich Dennis and Boris. This is where we're at a nightclub called Kodjoe in Accra. And good times. This is a beachfront afternoon we had. Where we're essentially just hanging out with a bunch of water sports, from jet skis to everything else. And there's a lot of leisure built in too. This is again at the Slave Coast, at the Cape Coast Slave Castle. This is as well Cape Coast Slave Castle. This is in front of the door of no return, where the site of where slaves would get processed and loaded on the ships. Is in one of those dungeons, and it's obviously very, very eerie and depressing. But again, it becomes empowering the very next step you think about it. And this is the view from above, the Cape Coast slave dungeon.
Yeah, man, that just seeing that picture brings emotion to me, dude.
Right.
That right there is emotional. Just I'll say.
This is actually our group there. It's the first year, 2018. It's our group of about 120, 130 people. Just yeah. It's a very, very deep experience.
Yeah.
And very, very transformational. Very
So
much transformational.
yeah, let's go into the full circle package here, and so that our audience can learn a little more about the full circle deck here,
Okay.
Patrick. So this is your full circle package festival that you offer. Can you step us through this quickly?
Sure.
Can you hold on? Let me.
I don't see it on
I
screen.
thought I had it up, but I didn't have it up. But go ahead.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's just a deck essentially where I explain that the vision, the mission, the historical background of it. So I think it'd be good for people. I know they're not going to read now, but if you go back after this, you go back into the podcast, you can pause and read it for yourself if you're interested. But yeah, we're poised to pick up the series again this year, and we'll promote, and you'll hear about it, see about it. This is essentially just a breakdown of what happens at the events and who our guests have been and things like that. We've had everybody from Ludacris to Naomi Campbell to Akon stop by to hear Jesse Williams, Ebro. I think there's a list of a lot of our guests too. Again, Anthony Anderson, Rosario Dawson. We had Idris Elba. Just a bunch of phenomenal people.
Are you still providing these type of activities in your package?
Yeah. So this will be, and how I want to structure it going forward is that we will offer these as part of a system where our guests will book flights and hotels themselves. They'll also be able to sign up at their leisure for these experiences, and then kind of structure their stay as they see fit.
Okay.
But then there will be some bigger events and parties where we'll all kind of come together and interact and hang out. There's a music festival called Afrochella that happens at the end of December that we're usually part of too. It's a lot of fun, and there's a bunch of great activities, bunch of great things to do. Then again, the lodging we've shut down 2 5-star hotels in close vicinity. We have the Riverpick Ambassador Hotel, the Kempinski, which are essentially right next door. Beautiful facilities, beautiful accommodations that have you living comfortably while you're there. Because I know a lot of people, and again, part of the narrative is people think mud huts, right? So they think they're not going to be comfortable, and it's very, very far from the truth. But they also have, there's a lot of Airbnbs there as well. So people will be more free to do their own thing, and jump in with us wherever they see fit.
And we saw some of these pictures earlier, and you mentioned some of the celebrity guests you guys have hosted at the event.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the thing is, these are, again, we so far, like we haven't paid any of them appearance fees or none of that. These are friends of ours that get the mission and that wanted to experience that themselves, and it's been, we've gotten a lot of great support from a lot of great people, and we're certainly grateful for all that. And that's just us, the 4 founders, my brother, his wife, Bozoma, and myself. And we're going to try to take this as far as it can go and really make a difference. One for Africa, but also for people that actually get to experience it.
Beautiful. And I think this is the last slide here. So yeah, Patrick, how can they get in touch with you? And if people, we have people that like to travel, how can they get in touch with you to learn about this event and maybe book?
You can reach out on social media. I'm at Pat Kodjoe on Instagram. I think Patrick Kodjoe on Facebook, and I'll be again, follow my brother, his wife. So once we make some of these decisions about locales and dates for the events coming up, we'll be promoting that. So if you follow us on there, you'll certainly hear about it, and then we'll point you in the right direction in terms of if you want to be part of it, where and how you can book, and what that entails. So I think that'll be the easiest way to kind of stay abreast of what's going on.
Yeah.
With us.
And before I come to the chat, if you guys have any questions for Patrick, please put a Q. I'm coming to the chat in a second. I have a quick video clip from the event, that emotional thing that you were talking about. I'll hit that real quick. Maybe you can speak on it. Check this out, Patrick.
Oh yeah, that's when I presented AJ with the pastor who was going to post to baptize her right there in the sea. And January 1st this is about 6 a.m. And so that's her over here in the middle of the circle. Very emotional moment. We got her baptized in the sea right after that, and then we sat down right there on the beach, had a breakfast set up for everybody, and we were back at the hotel around 10 a.m. after a night of partying and craziness. It was phenomenal.
I have a question in the chat. What is the primary language in Ghana?
English. English is
that's what I thought. I thought it was English
language, but obviously that there are a bunch of tribal languages, like dozens and dozens of tribal languages. Ga is probably the most prominent one numbers wise, I think. But English is the official language, and the business is conducted in English, and everybody speaks it. So it's a very, very easy access point for Americans, just in terms of it's very Western. It's infrastructure is similar, language, food, all that stuff. They have if you get too homesick, they have a bunch of fast food there too. They have McDonald's and KFC and Burger King and all that. So don't think you won't fit in. Obviously in the hotels, a lot of Western food, a lot of stuff you're used to. So you'll feel right at home, especially with the people just being so welcoming and open and warm.
Another question: are there any condos and penthouses?
Yeah,
really?
Bunch of them, bunch of new development, bunch of super luxurious condos and townhomes and things like that.
Yeah, and it looks like we have a person in the chat. Looks like Kiki is looking forward to the full circuit experience. Definitely a necessity. So
yeah, it's a game changer. If you've never been to the continent, I urge you to go and experience it. It's an absolute game changer.
Yeah, and Kiki in particular, my niece, she travels.
Yeah.
I think they have a trip booked to go to Dubai later this year. So
come on, Kiki, just hit Ghana on the way back. It's right there.
That's officially right from the horse's mouth from Mr. Patrick. Right. So hit Patrick up, Kiki, so that we can get you to Africa. I need to get out there myself. Any additional questions, comments for Patrick in the chat? I really want to spin off to entrepreneurship. quickly before we wrap up the show and just talk about some of the best practices for our younger audience, for our babies and our children, because a lot of us have children that want to become entrepreneurs, will spin off into that genre, and it is a difficult road. And Patrick has been successful at it, so I really want him to share with our babies some of the best practices and experiences he has gotten from being a successful entrepreneur. So, and by the way, get the likes up. If you're enjoying the content, if you're learning something here, it's free. Just like the video as well as share it with your loved ones, because this content is intended for younger viewers, for our babies, to teach our babies the best practices from successful people like Patrick. So, Patrick, let's if there aren't any additional questions, let's spin off to entrepreneurship, and well, you're working other projects too, right? You have PORTL, and can we talk about the PORTL, because that's where you and I met. We met in Las Vegas at the ALSD conference. So why don't you talk about PORTL a little bit, and I'm going to pull up the video so that our guests can see some of the innovative stuff that you're working on, and how do you even choose these projects as an entrepreneur? How do you have the confidence to invest your hard-earned money into these projects and know they're good?
It's it really depends. Like I really, I'm very blessed to have and to continuously meet a lot of interesting people, a lot of just outliers, and that's really what I'm drawn to. And people that think differently, people that think outside the box, pioneers. So if I ever come across people like that, and I just get into a natural conversation, and I sometimes I love connecting people too, right? So sometimes I meet somebody, I'm in a conversation with them, and I see a synergy that they may have with somebody else I know. Even if I don't benefit, I make the connection, kind of see what happens, and kind of keep watching. But anything to me, anything interesting where I see the benefit, I see it either solving a problem in society, or significantly improving a certain a certain dynamic in some capacity. Like I get deep into it. I ask the hard questions and kind of see if there's a path for me to get involved in, if I can help, kind of add to the value in some capacity. But yeah, I'm always open to new things. I'm open to learning. That's a big one. Because I'm not the type of person that needs to hear himself talk. If I'm in a room with somebody that is smarter, and especially in some specific industry or some specific arena, I can listen for hours just to them talk about their core competency. Right. That's to me, that's how you learn. And so long story short, like if I can be involved with interesting, unique, pioneering businesses in some capacity that can help in some way, I jump on it, right? If it's with capital or with my time, I jump on it, and I bet on myself. I bet on new ideas, and that's where my passion lies, right? That's where I kind of light up. So if you have the entrepreneurial spirit, to me, like in terms of advice, it's like just follow your passion. Like if you have one thing that you're passionate about, one specific arena, explore it to the best of your ability. I'm talking to the young cats out here now, because to me, like if you're working on something that you're passionate about, that you love, that you feel strongly about in any way, like your actual work won't seem like work, and you won't have a problem investing the kind of time it'll take to make that venture successful, right? Because entrepreneurship is not easy. It's not easy. So usually when you see a success story about somebody's path, or somebody hitting it big in something, or some product being usually successful and blowing up, like you don't see the years and years and years the person may have put into that, right? You see the second it becomes successful. You don't see the years you have to put in to get to that point, and that's what it's going to take, right? Like successful entrepreneurs are outliers, right? And those are the types of obsessive people that don't sleep for a few days when it's necessary, right? Or they you might sleep in your car for a couple months just because you took a risk and it didn't pan out, and now you need money for to reinvest in something else to make it work. Right? That's the type of sacrifice entrepreneurship takes. But if you're passionate about something, it won't feel as dire as it won't feel as dire as it sounds, right? So there will be those times as an entrepreneur where you think, oh man, it'll be so much easier to give up and to go in a regular career path or just get a job somewhere. But at the end of the day, for me, as somebody like me, it's gratifying to just push through and just take the lows that are eventually going to turn the highs into higher highs, right? Because it makes it that much more worth it to have gone through these crazy times and these dark times when you then eventually become successful. And if you believe in something, that's what you want. That's the type of as an entrepreneur, that's what you want to work on, right? So it's not for everybody. Obviously, it's not for everybody. There's nothing wrong with a traditional career and a traditional path in a job where you climb the ladder and you put in your effort in that. So it's a different dynamic. But if you're built for it, there's nothing like entrepreneurship, right? You can do it. You can do it. If you believe in it, you can do it.
Yeah, Patrick. And so I want to play a video of this venture that you're working on. And what I noticed, Patrick, is that you don't necessarily have to invent or create, a business. You can invest in. And I noticed that you have invested in different ventures. Some you created from scratch, like the health app and all of that. But others you have chose to recognize a good opportunity and jump in.
Right, absolutely. And then you partner with the right people, and that may make sense from that point. Or you just invest your time and you work out a joint venture in some capacity, and it works out that way. But owning parts of businesses that you believe in is hugely gratifying, and that where you can jump in and help in the process and development is a phenomenal thing too.
So let's show. I want to show PORTL, this metaverse beaming a person across. It freaked us out, and in Las Vegas at the LSD conference when I met you, and you were showing us this. So let me play this for our audience, okay? This is from the PORTL Hologram website. So let me pull that up on the screen. And let's.
We were lucky. The Los Angeles Times did this nice piece about how are people going to cover the red carpets and things like that. And I sort of made a proclamation in that piece. I said we're going to unveil a whiz-bang technology that had never been seen on a red carpet before.
Yes.
And I don't think you've seen this yet.
No, I haven't seen this yet. And you've been teasing this for days. That it would knock our socks off.
It's going to knock your socks off. So imagine this, obviously, this idea of social distancing. So if you're a star and you want to show off your beautiful outfit, but you want to stay in the safety and sanctity of your home, or you're here in LA, but you need to make a very important presentation in New York or Dubai or wherever. It's a new way to communicate. It is called PORTL. It is the PORTL Hologram. We go over and look at that.
And who is in our portal?
In our portal is the beautiful Dana Devon.
Dana!
But here's the crazy thing. Dana, we see her in that box.
Yeah.
She's not actually in the box.
You're kidding.
Dana, where are you?
You guys, it's so funny. So it looks like I'm on the set, right?
Yeah.
I am nowhere near the set. I am like dozens and dozens and dozens of feet away, way in another part of the building. I've been calling this, this is the D in the box. This is my word for it. This is the only hologram machine, for lack of a better word, in the world. The only one like this. It is so much fun. And if you go actually stand up in front of it,
yeah,
you will swear I am right in front of you. It's 3D. It's unbelievable. Like you said, it's the absolute best way to social distance in the world. You get to show
so
off.
So Dana, you look beautiful, by the way. But if we were to reach out and touch you, nothing there.
Yeah, almost like Star Trek. Remember, like you almost with your hand would almost go through.
But watch this. Here's the neat thing. So Dana, if you don't mind, do the whole 360 for us as Dana does her beauty turn.
Right.
And again, completely in 3D. The idea of this portal box, as it were. Let's say Sting wants to do a concert in 60 clubs.
Yeah.
He sits in front of his screen, and you have that box. And they've got beautiful sound and this beautiful picture. It's absolutely remarkable. Dana's already dancing.
You can dance,
right? You could put Dana in 60 bars,
right?
And yes,
right.
On our Sunday morning news, we had conversation with David Nussbaum, the inventor, the creator of the whole thing. And one thing he talked about, this is the full-size one, the Maxi. They're working on a desktop one.
Okay, and not to get too in the weeds with Sam about it, but does it reflect an image? Is that, I mean...
technically, I don't know how it works.
You know what? Who needs to know?
It's
amazing.
But she's physically in the... I mean, she's not in the box.
It is truly unbelievable, because when you see it, it's 3D. It's not like it's a flat image. You see my whole big booty. You see all of it.
Yeah, right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? It's all 3D. So it's so cool. The detail is unbelievable.
Yeah.
Everybody was all in and out today. I mean, the possibilities are endless. And if you're talking desktop application, that blows me away.
Okay, now I know Sam's going to try to take vacation days and just he'll be in his hotel room and he'll be standing in the box.
For more information about this, they have a website. They spell portal in a different way. It's PORTL.
Exactly.
It is PORTL Hologram. It's on your screen. PORTLHologram.com. Answer all your inquiries. They've got a lot more videotapes. It's really interesting. PORTLHologram.com. That was fun. Dana, thank you so much.
Love y'all.
Dana's been working hard all day.
Yeah, that's super dope. That is super duper
pretty
dope.
freaky.
Yeah,
you don't have the footage. You don't have the footage we shot with Shannon in it, do you?
I do not. I do not have that. I wish I did. I do not. I even got inside of this thing, and is this the mini version that you guys are building to fit on a desk?
Yeah, it's going to be about 24 inches high, and it's going to, it's going to be for home use, and it's going to essentially it's like you can use it like a Zoom call on steroids, where you can communicate with, somebody else who has a desktop version. It's amazing because it's truly, volumetric 3D hologram. So you essentially you'll see a mini version of yourself, and it'll feel and look like you've been shrunken down to fit in that box. It's pretty cool stuff, and it's also gonna function like a regular tablet, a regular TV. So you can, it essentially replaces your iPad, but the actual visually, like you can use it in so many different and doper ways. It's remarkable stuff. It's cool.
Yeah, I saw where Diddy sang to his son here.
Yeah. So we beamed in Diddy from his house in Miami to his son's birthday party in LA.
Yeah, he was using profanity in the video. I was going to show it, but then he started using profanity in the video, and I couldn't show it. But
really, like you stand in front of it and you think the person's in the box. It's really
it's
and
crazy.
They can be somewhere across the world, and you can communicate in real time. It's pretty fantastic. But it also plays recorded content and great, freaky 3D content. You can put anything in there, and it just looks phenomenal because it's 3D.
Is this future going to have mobile too, where you can use your phone? And let's say, for instance, if I were to purchase one of these for my parents in Virginia, I could beam myself from Seattle with my phone. Is that this, or is that
Yeah,
this something else?
it is. We're with the especially with the desktop version. We're working on actually being able to just capture the image with the mobile phone, and it'll beam right into that box.
Super duper dope. Super
Yeah.
dope. You would have to be there and see it. I know Shannon Allen was tripping. I know I was tripping. Nick Cooper, who was on the show, who was on, he was there. We all met together, and that's kind of where I met you. We was at the ALSD conference, and you were so cool and humble. You always are. And we exchanged numbers. I hit you up. You hit me right back. I was like, this guy's cool as a fan. And then we went downstairs, had a few drinks. I can't remember if you were drinking. I certainly had a beer or two. And we was just all just talking, and it's pretty dope, dude. So I wanted people to see that technology. Now, just in the spirit of that, Patrick, what are some of the best practices you would like to share with our young audience as an investor?
Gosh, as investors, just to me, it's do your research. You know what I mean? And do your research, one, about the product or service and the market that it's poised to penetrate, but also about the people, right? About the people running it, the founders, the owners, and the people that are going to be running that company, because that's gonna determine its success. Right? And to me, it's like you want to be in partnerships with people that you're aligned with, right? Be it with your value system and everything else, just the way you look at the world. If that's askew, it can go sideways pretty fast, right? When you're talking about a partnership, when you're talking about investing, you're really just looking at success. But when you're talking about an actual working partnership, and say a joint venture or a company you found with somebody, you got to be aligned fundamentally in terms of how you do business, how you approach life, all that stuff. Like, because the wrong partner can screw things up, and really make your life miserable for a time. So to me, that's the main thing.
Yeah, and another thing that people don't think about as an entrepreneur and investor is having the right partner. How important is it to have the right spouse or significant other in your life when you become an entrepreneur?
I mean, that's critical to me. Because as an entrepreneur, you go through those times where you're just depleted and you're down in the dumps, and you may have failed in some capacity. You got to pick yourself back up and all that stuff. Like your support system at home is those are the people that catch you, and the people that help you recharge and give you the strength to keep going, right? So it's critical. But also just from a more fundamental perspective, the choosing the right person to, especially as it comes to having kids, like having the right partners is absolutely fundamental. And again, the wrong partner can really throw things off and can make your life miserable. In the same way, like the right partner can make everything better. So I credit my wife with saving me from myself. I met her at I was 30 years old, something like that, 29 maybe. But I credit her with all that, and with giving me focus and strength and all of it. So it's that's the most important decision you'll ever make, is that, because especially when it comes to the mother or the father of your children, just because those that person will be in your life forever. They'll be in your life forever. Ideally, you'll be together forever. But even if it ends up not going perfectly and you split up, there'll still be in your life, and it can still make your life miserable if it's the wrong one, right? So I definitely lucked out with my choice. It's just that my wife is my the best choice I ever made, and I'll be proud of that. Proud of having made that choice. But yeah, it's critical.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that's even in the book, in the big book. That's one of the greatest gifts you can ever get is a supportive, great wife. Good stuff.
Absolutely.
What is the best piece of advice you have ever been given in your business life or in life in general to help you be successful?
Oh man, it's I don't think I remember any particular piece of advice. I've had a lot of great mentors or great people that I've had access to, where I've essentially just been able to listen and absorb their knowledge. And to me, the most important piece of advice would be just to persist. Right? As in terms of entrepreneurship, is to persist. Like you're no matter how much planning you'll do and how detailed you are, in terms of be it bringing a product to market or launching a service or whatever. No matter how much planning you do, there are always things that come up. There are always roadblocks. There are always things that you couldn't have thought of that happen, that can throw you off your path. But if you have the strength to persist and to grind and to take the bad times with the good, you're gonna be all right.
Thank you so much, brother, for coming on the show. And we'll just wrap it up. This is the Bet Out of Debt show. We call it Bet Out of Debt because when you place a trade, it's called placing a bet, and hopefully it's a winning one to keep you out of debt. We're here live every Sunday, 8:15 a.m. Pacific time. We love to see you. Share with your babies. Share the content. And thank you again, and we'll see you next week. Goodbye.